Kumusta and congratulations, you've made it. You have just tuned in to the dopest podcast in the universe. Behind This Beat is a show where we take flight and connect with Filipino creatives locally and abroad, representing the land of a thousand islands, the Philippines. Let's get the show started and give it up for our hosts, Phat Boy, Lim and Boy Graduate. This is Behind This Beat.
Yo!
Mic check.
It is Friday once again, and yes, it's always a great time to just like hang out on a Friday. It's we always say that it's great to be like doing this show like every Friday now. Like it's been how many episodes already, man? I think we are on our 16th already.
15th.
Wow. Which is it really? Like, let me check. It's 15 episode right now. So today is November 27, and it is Behind This Beat with me, Phat Boy Lim.
And Boy Graduate.
I thought you freezed. Okay.
Yeah, man, shout out. I don't know what's going on, but my internet is cooking it every now and then. But I think we're good.
Yeah, well, it's okay. I can't believe your internet's not that good there, because you're not in the Philippines, right? Oh,
Trust me. I think of that every day.
Yeah, but anyways, this is going to be a special show. Aside from it being our 15th episode, we got. It's also always really great to have a guest that is. We've been getting a lot of different guests, but it's to have someone familiar that is because he's been sort of part of the things that I've been doing also here in Cebu. So, but before I actually introduce him, we gotta just tell the people how to get in touch with us. So, can you do that, Boy Graduate?
Yeah, you can catch us on our website www.beatthisph.com or all social media beatthisph, where we're talking about everything Filipino, global music, and local.
Yeah, and last episode we had Janelle Marie's on our last episode. So that if you want to listen to that, it'll be out soon. So we are all on our You can find us on all podcast platforms. So just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and all your favorite podcast apps, right? And it's so funny because we're now like really getting a lot of listens now. I think we're already at our 800. I think 985,000 listeners or something like that.
Yeah, wow. It keeps growing. Shout out to everyone tuning in.
Thank you very much for actually giving time to listen to us. And I just got an email from Spotify that they're actually going to sort of buy our show. So I don't know if we need to do that soon, but we can wait, Spotify. We don't have to have that now.
Yeah, we don't have to bow down to your orders. We hold all the cards here.
All right, so moving on, let's do this. Again, this is Behind This Beat, and this is where you will find out more about Filipino creatives from just not only here in the Philippines or even here in Cebu, but around the world. So we try our best to get all artists and producers to be on the show to get to know more about the things that they do behind the scenes, or like the storytelling of their career and their journey in music. So this is a good platform for you to discover and at the same time learn from what is out there, and maybe just be supportive about like anything that is Filipino in this music space, right? So okay, so without further ado, let's introduce this how do you say that? How do you say it? Like he's a slasher, he's a artist / guitarist / music producer / model. So, let's please welcome on Behind This Beat. This is Fonzy. Hey. Okay. Wait. Sorry. I think I mute your mic.
No, I'm good. Hello, what's up? I'm good now. I'm unmuted. Where's Boy Graduate? He just disappeared when I went on. I feel like you have to sacrifice one so you can have the other. You can't have both, right?
I don't know what happened to Boy Graduate. Like,
Nice.
anyway, so how have you been while waiting for Boy Graduate here? How have
I'm.
you been, man?
Oh, he's back. Cool. Well,
Yo,
I've been good. I've just been in I live in Toronto, so like we're in lockdown right now for the next month, and I've just been at home locked up trying to make more music, trying to reconnect with more artists, talk to more friends, and yeah.
Yeah, just to give you
man.
guys an idea of who Fonzy is. Actually, Fonzy came from a really like a good musical background. He used to be in a band called Drop Decay. He was a guitarist and a vocalist of that band. We know each other from way back when I was doing Sonic Boom events, and actually we had good relationship of bringing them to Manila.
Yeah.
And he's part of the Cebu music scene. And then from the time that everyone sort of like decided to break up with the band, everyone started doing production. Vince Lucero became producer. Um, Job became Cookies, and of
Yeah.
course, Tony here became Fonzie, and he was actually part of the Beat This community when we were doing when we were starting out 3 years ago about talking about like production and all that stuff, right? So
Yes,
now
sir.
he went to Canada to pursue music production, or is it like what is
Yeah.
the course?
So basically I moved to Canada because I wanted to learn more about the North American music industry, right? And yeah, that's always been something I've aspired for, like even as a young artist. So I took up the music industry arts program at Fanshawe, which is like a really good program. Like I think it's award winning or whatever. But like yeah, I went there. I learned a lot about audio engineering, the music business, and pretty much everything you could learn about the industry in
Yeah, I
a
think
span of
that,
2 years.
it's always great to listen to someone who was part of the scene here and now talking about, well, you could say talking about big things now, right? Because you come from a place in the Philippines where it's like just a certain area in the map with
Uh-huh.
a certain group of people and group of
Mhm.
audience. Now you're actually
Yeah, Cebu is
experience.
small. Cebu is
Yeah,
small. To anyone who wants
yeah.
like doesn't know, Cebu is small.
Yeah, it's kind of like, yeah, if you're like listening right now and you haven't been to Cebu, it's really like a really tight knit
Yeah.
community. It's like
How many
you
people
know
are there? I think there are like 6 million people in Cebu.
really
Or
is it?
I'm not sure. Let me Google.
I'm not.
Jamie, Google that real quick. We're doing jokes.
Yeah, but basically the thing is like Fonzie here is very familiar with the Cebu music scene, like from its very I guess core history of it from
Yeah.
listening to bands before to even now. And maybe before we actually even go there, because we want to know really about you, like how was your journey? Like what was the things that happened to you that you got into music? Like maybe just a short
Sure, man.
description where you came from. Like, are you originally from Cebu? Are you like
Yeah.
anything that we need to know?
So I guess like most people from Cebu would consider me a lumad or mabanay tawag. Is that what they call it? Lumad?
No. What's lumad?
I don't know,
Like a
like a native of Cebu. So I grew up, I was
okay.
born and raised in Cebu. My dad's family is from Cebu. My mom, though, they're from somewhere else. But like, yeah, me pretty much, I was born and raised in Cebu. I grew up in Cebu City, and growing up, music was always around in the house. I grew up on top of me and my family owned a disco, and I grew up in that environment, like right above, because like the operations were downstairs, and like every day as a kid, I would just like be acquainted with these old records, these funky records, because back then in the 90s it was all about disco. I mean, and yeah, in the 90s, disco was still there, right? Because they were still playing records from
Yeah,
like
I think
the 80s and
yeah,
70s.
yeah, 80s to yeah,
Yeah.
90s.
And there was a
And
little bit of techno,
techno, yeah,
um,
yeah.
discotheque, whatever. But yeah, I grew up in that environment. My dad like DJ'd also, but he was a dentist. which is weird for me to get into music. But like, yeah, like to sum it up, like music was always there. And like growing up in high school, I did sports. I wasn't very good. So then I took up the guitar, and then that thing led to another. I formed a band called Drop Decay, and then Drop Decay did a bunch of shows in Cebu, and we met up with Alex, who eventually, like, we worked together when I was a preteen, probably like 17 or 18. And he took us out. Like, Alex, I remember you took us out to our first out of town gig in Manila, actually. It was opening for this band called There for Tomorrow. And yeah, I remember that like moment very well.
What year was that? What year was that? Was
I don't know. I think it was 2011. And then you flew us out there, and like to me back then, being I think I was a freshman in high school. So like, I mean, I was a freshman in college, right? In university. So I was about like 18 or 19, just hit my teens. And then yeah, it was just like a surreal experience where you brought us out, and like the first ever out of town gig we did was we opened for this like American band, which me and my bandmates like equally looked up to, which was like, wow, like we're being thrown into the frying pan here. We got to step up our game. So
yeah, so I know it's a no. It's like I know for sure that you were like you probably grew up in the band scene in Cebu, and I think I remember I met you just first heard about you.
yeah,
I'm not even sure if it was MySpace or was
I
it
think it
MySpace?
was. It might be MySpace, because I was like that one annoying. Like I do a lot of. I'm the kind of person that does a lot of research on like whatever scene I'm in, because I'm in Toronto now. I do a lot of that right now, but back then in Cebu, I used to do a lot of it on MySpace and Multiply. You know, when
Yeah, yeah,
you still had Skinny Buddha going on, you still had all your Outpost gigs and like
yeah, yeah.
Royal Concourse. I remember that. I was a kid, and Ralph Gonzalez, who is like he's like
It was
the region. Yeah,
yeah,
he's a
he was
label manager for Believe right now. But I remember back then, I remember very like vividly, he was asking me for my ID, because like I was very young. I was getting into the Sonic Boom shows, watching Fast Pitch, and I was only there because like my bandmates like sister dated the bassist for Fast Pitch, and we got in there. So like Ralph was asking me for like my ID. He asked me how old I was, and it's just like crazy how all this stuff like ties in together. How now I'm working with Ralph, who's like a product manager for my release on Believe or whatever. But yeah.
yeah, it's amazing, huh? So yeah, boy graduate, do you have anything? Like you look like you wanted to ask something.
Oh no, I'm just I'm wild. It's wild because like I didn't know that you were that like I hear Alex talk about Sonic Boom and all that, and to hear you actually like from your perspective, your experience as a kid doing all that, like going to the gigs that Alex was putting on and him taking you to Manila. He
Yeah.
also took me to Manila as well this time last year. I think it was this time literally last year we were in Manila doing
Yeah, yeah,
the Beat This showcase, and it's just crazy. It just goes to show that Alex is really old.
Well, no, I would
No,
say Alex has the
that's too harsh.
longevity. He has the longevity of
Longevity.
a what's an animal that lives long? I don't know.
Thank you, thank you. You know, like I'm the OG, the old guy.
No, G,
Yeah.
I remember when you were still in Bape. You know, when Bape was like a huge thing there, like in that era.
Damn.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember that. You know,
yeah. I
Paseo.
think
Yeah.
that's why it's yeah. Well, let's talk about like like moving forward, because like we know that the scene here in Cebu is very unique in a way, because there's a lot of artists that comes out from Cebu that sometimes like nationally most of the national like audience would never think that there were like artists like
Yeah.
being delivered to me from Cebu, right? But
Right.
talking about your experience with the birth of Beat This, because I remember that you were one of those sort of guys who were always there and was interested in the formation of that whole thing.
Of Beat
So
This, right?
yeah, and even the community that we were building that time. I mean, Fonzy was there. Like you were always like, if you see our photos on Instagram, right now on Beat This PH. You could actually see him on those one of those pictures there.
Yeah.
Damn.
So like, I guess I'm old too, if you want to call it that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
If
I'm
you
old
want,
as well. We're all old.
doesn't matter. Music keeps you young. It's not
Yeah.
about the
And I really think it's no, it's for me, like I've been here for the longest, right? But it's always this knack of like some people would say, whoa, so you're like, Alex is like already like this age, and like he's trying to get to fit in on the newer
right,
sound.
right.
But it's not even that. Like the
Yeah.
reason why I'm still here is because that I really love what's happening right now.
Exactly.
And
You know?
some usually can't adapt right away. Like I don't blame them, because like even just like talking about like certain sound of hip hop. Even the older generation hip hop doesn't really listen to the stuff right now, right? But I don't know, for some really crazy reason, or maybe just I love music. I just move forward to it. So saying that, like I wanted to see where you're coming from now,
Right.
Fonzie, about like starting from being a band going into production.
Yeah. I
That would be really an interesting story.
Yeah, this is like a story I really like talking about because yeah, as you can imagine, like being in a band, the dynamics of like creating music is like super different from how it is as we know it today. Cause being in a band back then, like there was no such thing as like having to produce your songs on a laptop, right? It was
Mm,
getting together with like a group of five guys in one room and just like banging
yeah.
out this song like 100 times,
Yeah.
figuring
Tracking
out
it.
the arrangement, whatever, with like maybe a crappy phone recording. This is in Cebu. This is in the context of Cebu, where like
Yeah.
recording technology wasn't like much of like a thing back then because it was a little bit pricey, but like as you can imagine right now it's more affordable, right? But
Yeah.
back then that's all we had. We would just like redo or re-rehearse our songs as much as we could with whatever time we had in the recordings in the rehearsal space. And yeah, we would take that then to a recording studio. That was like the traditional route. We would take that to a recording studio after the fact that we've written and arranged these songs. We take them to a recording studio and have that like sort of engineer producer, because there was always a hybrid role, right? No one really understood the role of a producer like in the band world back then. In the Cebu, I'm talking
Yeah.
about the Cebu context for sure.
Yeah. Right.
But like, yeah, we would just take that song and it would just pretty much be sort of like live off the floor recordings with like, and if you were lucky, you would get like a bunch of, you know, a sparkle of production value added in there, right?
Yeah.
So, and then like right now versus right now being a producer where it's like, you could pretty much do everything on your laptop, like right in front of you in an entire day. You can write a song virtually with anyone you want. And like, it's just so different
Yeah.
coming from the band world into that world. And I think, one of the fibers that ties those two worlds together is technology. Because as soon as technology, as soon as like the rapid like rise of technology came about, that's when like people or artists, creatives really started to take stock into what was going on and like sort of, invest their time and their craft into that.
Yeah. So
So
wild.
that's how I got into it. I'm a person that really likes to, you know, look at the latest technology and really capitalize on that.
Yeah, I also wanted to, because I mean, again, the transition of being in a band going to like what you are doing now. I mean, was there ever a time when you stopped the band and decided to continue with another band? And some could actually do that, but you went
Yeah.
the other route,
Yeah.
and
Did a full 180.
yeah. I mean, what was the big reason there? Was it because
Yeah, dude.
and it's not easy to even just transition to doing digital stuff, because there's a lot of things you need to learn out of
Yeah.
that, right?
I think it's not even digital, It's more of like I'm a person that pays a lot of attention to pop culture and what's going on. And I think that's like super important when, like, if you want to have some longevity in this like industry, is you have to be adaptable. So me, like,
Oh, sure.
one of the key ways I try to keep up with that is I look at what's going on like with the kids right now, because the kids are the ones with the time to create music.
Hmm.
So I see what's
Yeah,
going on with them.
they're the
And
ones that paved the
Yeah,
way. Like they
yeah,
changed it. Yeah.
I mean, it's so funny. It's so funny, Fonz, when you say the kids out there, because I
I
always
used to be the kid, right?
in my mind, I always like,
I know.
like,
But during that
are you
time,
yeah,
no,
are
but
you really that old? How old are you now?
I'm not that old. I'm in my mid 20s, but I feel old, like that's how like fast time. I mean, like that's how weird our concept of time has become. Like you listen to a song that was released 2 years ago and you think it was released 5 years ago, because that's just the way the music industry works right now. It's super fast. It's not like
Yeah.
before where it's like albums every year,
Okay.
You understand this?
We're gonna talk about that, like about
Yeah.
the fast food music, I call it, right, later,
Yeah.
because this is a really good discussion because you're a producer and an artist. You can see both spectrum of that. But let's before we even go there, I just wanted to probably just like let people know that your first ever single was a track called "Bad Habits," if I'm not
Yeah, that's a
mistaken.
shit track.
We're gonna play it anyway.
But no, no, he's not
I'm
gonna
not.
play it.
I'm not gonna play it.
Oh,
I'm just saying we have to know the history of Fonzie because it look
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, for sure. I love it.
you already have what, like I think more than 10,
Yeah, more
actually
than
more
10
than
now.
10 on your catalog right now, right? So we want to really try to
Yeah,
dig deeper of what Fonzie is all about, and then
sure.
talk about some other things in the industry, right? So you had Bad Habits around 2017. Now I'm sure this was your
Yeah.
first attempt to be in this. Actually, I really like the song, to be honest.
Yeah.
I was always telling, like, the first time you did this, I was even surprised that you even went there, because like I would never think that you would want to go into this kind of scene,
Yeah.
right? But
Yeah.
but you can really see that with Fonzie. I've known him from Drop Decay, with the whole melodic thing going, pop, punk, and all that stuff. It's there. You can hear it
Yeah.
from the stuff that he does. So yeah, how was that process for you? Can you take us back to that time, like you when you
Sure.
started?
Let's take you back into a dark and winding journey. But like, yeah, this ties back into what you asked earlier, where you ask how I transitioned from being in a band into being a producer, right? So I was doing the band, and in I think 2016 or 2015, that's when like things started getting a little shaky. We all graduated college at this point, me and my bandmates, and some of us, we all had to go our separate routes. I mean, like, I guess in the Philippines it's a little different, like when it comes to bands, because like my opinion is that, like, it's hard to make it work when you're not always together, when you're not
Mm,
touring constantly like 300 days out of a year. We just didn't have that,
yeah.
being from Cebu. The fact was we all had to move to Manila if we wanted to, make stuff happen, get things going. So I moved to Manila for a while. I did a job at an ad agency, and and I tried to do that with the whole band thing, and it just didn't feel right. Sometimes the vibe doesn't feel right, and you got to know when to back off.
Mm,
So like things weren't lining up, like in my personal life and in that aspect of my life, where, like, I decided to I told myself I gotta back off, I gotta move back to Cebu, regroup, and think of what I want to do, and that's when I moved back to Cebu. That's when I realized that, oh shit, like maybe this band thing isn't probably as, it wasn't the dream I sold to myself for the past like 5 years, because that
mm,
was always my dream as a kid. So like, trying to make it as a band.
yeah.
But like, yeah, when you got there was a bit of a cognitive dissonance where it was like, damn, this isn't working out, doesn't line up to my expectations.
Yeah.
Moved back and regrouped. But then I always wanted to make music. And the only way I was going to make music on my own was if I did it on my computer. So I spent a lot of sleepless nights trying to learn how to produce, like listening to a lot of these like songs that I like and figuring out like what made them work, what contributed to the sonic aesthetic. And yeah, like it was a long journey, man. I'm not gonna lie.
Kind of curious about the sort of like the music you were listening that time. I mean, you come from
Sure.
a rock
Yeah.
background. What was the sort of like
I could
music that
inspiration
would
for
like
that.
that you say?
I
Yeah,
give you one artist, Panic at the Disco. He was like, I think what Brendan Urie, like, because he came from a band too, Panic at Disco. I mean, like, he's still in a band. Panic at
Yeah.
Disco is still a band, but like from being a full-on rock band where like he had 5 members to being like Brendan Urie, the solo art. I mean, Panic at the Disco, the sole artist of Panic at the Disco, doing all his productions on his own. That's what really like sparked my interest and like made me think that, oh, like, yeah, here's
doing
this
it.
guy that came from
Yeah.
this sort of background that I came from, which was the scene. And like he kind of carved his own like path into making radio ready music too, like on his own. So I thought like, why not? Maybe I could do it too. And that's where like Bad Habits came from. It was like, if you can, if you want to go hear it now, because I'm gonna delete it soon. But then,
Hey, you heard it here first. Get in quick. I've got to go.
yeah,
Straight after
you
this, I'm
gotta
listening
listen to it. But then, like, there's a lot of rock influences there, and
yeah.
a lot of that comes from Brendan Urie, and really,
Yeah,
it was at this.
Are you really going to delete it? Come on, man.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe we'll keep it there for the diehards, but
Yeah, for sure. I've got tracks that I want to delete, but people still message me every day like, yo, I still listen to this song from like 2016, and it's like, god damn, it's so bad. Like, listen to the newest stuff. But man, like
Exactly.
it takes them back to like a nostalgic place and like a point of their life that
exactly.
they,
But then,
you know,
yeah, I get what
Yeah.
you mean too.
Also, it kind of shows you where the growth is happening in your
I love that.
career,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah, so it's better people will see that, so that they'll see your humble beginnings, man. Like, just for me. Well, it's the manager. It's the manager A&R and me telling you this,
Honestly, like,
Yeah.
that's how I see my songs. Is like, every song I release, it's like, oh, like this is
Okay,
better than the
so
last one.
yeah, so after that track, I say you did like a sort of like a beat related kind of song called Senpai Puas, but then the most notable track that really like captivated like everyone. It was being played on radio stations, and we were one of the first one who broke it on Beat This radio back in the days. It was a track called Cool Together with IC of Sepia Times. Remember that? It was like around 2018. So let's talk about that after we play this clip, and so the people, our listeners would know what it sounded like for you. So this is Cool Together, Fonzy featuring IC of Sepia Times, right here on Behind This Beat.
Show me your heart and I'll let you go. I know that you know that we could be. I know that you and me, we could be cool together. We could be cool together. We could be cool together. We could be cool together.
Yes, that was something from Fonzy, a track called "Cool Together" featuring IC from Sepia Times. Yeah, and then that is all available on all your streaming apps right now. So make sure to listen to that right now if you're into that. Well, after you watch us, you listen to that. Okay, so tell us more about that track, Fonzy. It looks like it was a fun video. I see a lot of familiar faces there. But take us to the process of that song.
So Cool Together I would describe as like it was a perfect exercise of me like demonstrating my melodic abilities and my pop sensibilities into a record. So that's when I really when I discovered that, hey, I could probably do this thing like in pop, So yeah, how do you want to know how the track started, or do you want
Yeah,
to
yeah.
know
Like
how?
what was like what was the inspiration of it, and why did you pick Icy?
Honestly,
For the
I think it. I don't know. I'm trying to remember how exactly, but I do know I came from a bad breakup then, and then like I just music is always the outlet, as they say. You invite the muse, you let creativity in, and yeah, that song served as sort of my outlet, like to sort of express myself and what I was feeling at that point. And I thought of Icy because I saw some of their videos online. I've seen them play live, but I didn't really get to connect with them in person. So yeah, I decided like she had the great voice for this like big idea in my head, because that's how I usually start my songs or my records. Is I usually have like the grand idea, what the music video is gonna look like, what it's gonna feel like, what people are gonna like think of it, when they hear the title.
yeah,
Yeah.
And
yeah, I know. Like I wanted to tell the audience and the listeners is like Fonzie is actually really hands on when it comes to his releases, like everything from the video. He's one of those for me like kid back then, huh?
still a
Back
kid.
then. You're still a kid, but I'm just saying, like you were younger back then, but you were one of those like hustler type of artist at a young age. It's kind of, I mean, I mean, like I mean, everyone knows Trev, right?
Mhm.
Like he's
My
probably
son.
the son of your type of thing.
Yeah, that's why I like Trev, because he's like, I see a young me in
He's your
Trev.
son.
But yeah, I mean, like I'm very, I don't know if I don't know if I'm a control freak, or if I'm a micromanager, but I just see like the whole thing from start to finish in my head before it even happens, which is why like
It's funny you say that because you sound like a producer,
yeah,
and you were
exactly.
saying before when you were doing the
Yeah,
band
so
stuff, like you didn't know what a producer was, or
exactly.
back then.
Yeah, exactly. Very good point. Because I didn't know what a producer was back then. Like, I didn't know the roles and the duties that a producer had to carry in the band world, right? But essentially, I
Hmm.
took those
Yeah.
principles and those, like, everything I did, those experiences, I took them to, like, my own thing. And I guess everything just came organically, you know? And that's one
Hmm.
thing too with being like a creative, to any creative out there, is like try to exploit like your sort of like anything you've done in the past, your skills, your soft skills, your hard skills, and try to apply them into what you're trying to do, like what you're trying to get into as of the moment, because I think it could be really useful. I learned how to communicate really well from being in a band. I learned how to negotiate from being in a band, like all
Yeah,
that
man.
stuff.
I remember
Mm.
you were like the
Yeah.
band was self-managed, and I think partly it is, like it doesn't surprise me actually to see you where you are now, like even going out of your way to go into Canada, not just doing this from Cebu, and just had to like leave and just go out there, because like you could really see the fire, man, with this one, like like Fonzie's been, I've known him for a while now, and he's always competitive, like that. And actually, I'm gonna ask a couple of questions later when because if there was one thing in the journey of Fonzie, it's like there was music that he was also going for, even if it wasn't his lane. And we had some of these arguments before, like why are you doing that stuff, man? Like that's not you. Like, but
Yeah.
then I do get it now, because it's like he's here not only just an artist but really as a producer, and
Yeah.
and we've worked already for how many years now and got to know him. And
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I'm excited for you. So let's move on to this song that I wanted to just let the listeners know. But before that, I just want to say hi to Lexter, the
Who's
virus
watching?
was watching right now from
Oh,
Cagayan de
cool.
Oro. And thanks for watching. And yeah, one of the most supportive DJs, radio jocks out there on Magic, is always playing like the stuff that we have here in Cebu. And it's yeah, thanks again for you're watching us here. So yeah, so I remember, like, so you've been like consistently, like the biggest song you have was "Cool Together." It was played all over the radio stations.
Yeah.
And
When I left
and
Cebu too, it's so weird.
oh, really?
Yeah, it's so weird. It was like my mi ultimo adios. I it was my ultimate farewell because like right when I put that out, that's when I left Cebu, and
Oh, really?
yeah,
I didn't know that. I kind of forgot. Like,
yeah.
okay.
So it was sort of my final act.
Yeah, no, we did premiere that on Beat This, right?
Yeah, we did, but then I left a month after, or 2 months after.
Oh, okay,
So,
all right.
yeah.
Yeah, but sometimes I gotta say some. I'm not gonna say all, but some radio stations here are actually just like they get left behind of what's happening, right? So you can't blame them because some of them really don't know what's happening. That's why I salute people like Lexter because they're always on point with the new releases. Over there at Magic and Cagayan de Oro. So you had this really cool track called "Forget You." I heard Intuition first, and then after that, like when we saw "Forget You," this was like one of those songs and music video that the influence of you being in Canada is already showing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I have a lot to say about this song and this single. So, but play it first, and we'll talk.
Yeah, so this is something from 2018. It's a track called "Forget You." And I remember when I saw this, I was like, "Oy, hambugiro." Yeah. So let's check this out. "Forget You," Fonzy, right here on Behind This Beat.
Can't rewind out of my sight. Would you hear me? Cause I know you still think about me. Cause you know I still think about you. Yeah, when it's cold and it gets lonely, you know that I just can't forget you. You know that I just can't forget you.
Oh yeah. Really love that.
Nice.
I haven't heard that song in a while.
Yeah, please make sure to listen to that on all streaming platform out there. It's out Apple everywhere. Deezer, Spotify. Did I just say Deezer? Wow, I haven't used Deezer for a while, but yeah.
No one uses Deezer.
Only Alex uses Deezer.
I used to be the one who actually introduced Deezer to a lot of friends here when Spotify wasn't here in the Philippines yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what is that track all about? "Forget You." Maybe talk about more the technical, not really necessarily.
Sure. Let's talk technical because I have a lot to say about technical. Lyric wise, I really wanted to express, coming from a place where I was new to 2018. I was new in Canada still then, right? And like I was sort of in this place of like, Cebu is home, but this is home now. And like, where do I belong? And I wanted to relay that in my lyrics. So I guess I came up with that melody, that I can't forget you. I came up with that in the shower. I remember very well. In the shower of the dorm I was staying in, where my roommate's hair was like all over the tub.
Oh, yuck.
Yeah, you know how it is living in college, right?
You didn't have to tell us that, man.
No, but like, I think it's important.
Description.
I think it's important for your listeners to know all the graphic details that go into like, making a song like this.
Time up. Yeah, straight up.
So straight up, exactly. So yeah, I remember like coming up with that melody. I was like, oh shit. I rushed to my laptop. I made the chords. I made the beat. And then next thing you know, like, damn, like 2 days later, damn, I have a fully fleshed out track. And I wrote over the whole, because like I feel like I'm very temperamental when it comes to writing music. There are days where it's like, I go on this, like, I go in a state of flow where 2 days straight, I'm just writing music. And then where it's like 2 months, I'm in a drought, it varies.
Yeah. No, straight up.
And for "Forget You," it was one of those moments where it just came really quick. I had the hook really quick. I had the instrumentals in my head really quick. And if you want to talk technicals, because I know Alex asked technicals, I was living in Canada then. I was listening to a lot of like Toronto stuff, and as you can imagine, Toronto is a city with a lot of like Afro Jamaican influences.
Mm,
So where the beat goes tuk tak tuk tak tuk tak tuk tak
mhm.
or tuk tak
That's always
tak tuk tak tak tuk tak tak. So yeah, I sound stupid to many of your listeners right now, but the producers
nah,
that
man.
know.
They know, no. If you
Yeah.
know, you know.
So I infused that beat in the verse in the second verse because like I was listening to a lot of that stuff, like Drake stuff,
Yeah.
Party Next Door stuff, like even the obscure stuff you don't even know about. I won't say, but I infused that there, and then like for sort of the drop, because I was living in London, Ontario, and the act that just broke out, that just like made a name for themselves, that came from there, was called Loud Luxury, and that they had this hit song called Body at that time, called Body on my losing all my innocence, and I remember because
Oh, I know that song. That's
yeah,
huge.
so it's huge, and like the people I worked in a festival for like yeah, I worked in that festival, and like the people like in that festival like sort of introduced me to those guys, and like yeah, like just seeing them coming from that like university party scene and like doing big things in this festival that I was working at, and like making a huge worldwide hit out of it just made me
Yeah.
like super like inspired, and like I sort of adapted that melody and that sort of like formula into Forget You
It's
during
cool.
like yeah my
Soon
early
as I heard
days
your
of living
voice,
there.
soon as I heard your voice on that track, I was like, yeah, Toronto. That guy's moved to Toronto.
Yeah. So yeah, those are the technicals. It's not
Yeah,
much, but like for the video, it's
yeah.
funny, the video. I'll
It was
talk to you
amazing.
about the video. You know how I got it? Remember Drop the K days, my band days? This guy commented on like one of our videos, and he was like, "Yo, this is dope." Blah 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 blah. And I hit him up on YouTube, and over time we became friends. This was like 2014, I would say 2013. We became friends over time, and yeah, like we learned about each other's lives. Eventually we became like better friends when I moved here, and when I went to New York to visit family, we met up, and he was like, yo, we got to shoot a music video.
Yeah.
So he was basically a fan of the band first,
Yeah,
and he
it's
was a fan of
crazy.
pop punk, so it's like everything just tied together, and that's where I can say
So
like
who's the guy's name? And he's
Justin Jarrow, he's from New York.
from New York. Okay,
Yeah, he's
okay.
Filipino. He's Filipino too, and he's done a lot of like one thing I can say, but I can't reveal too much. But he's done a lot of ghostwriting for like Billboard stuff. But
Crazy.
Oh,
yeah, so
okay.
like past Billboard like hits in
So so
2018.
he's not only a video guy. He's also a
Yeah,
musician.
yeah, he's a pop punk guy. Like by nature, he's inspired by a lot of these like Japanese pop punk stuff, and like we just got along really well, and yeah, made stuff happen. And like I actually did music for his like Pokemon game. And like
Mm,
I produced like no, yeah, we sort of produced together this like pop punk track for this Pokemon game he had, which got
wow,
like
Oh,
1 million downloads right now. So
cool.
jeez.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, you know what?
Crazy.
Like, if there was one thing that is also commonly happening in the journey of Fonzie, it's really collaborations. Like like that,
Yeah.
getting friends. Like hook up with this person, and next thing you know, he's working with that. And even with the music that he does, you can see that there is a lot of that. Like, knowing that you're a producer? I mean, you came from a band where it was a team, and there was like a lot of that, and then
Yeah.
you broke it up, and then now there, I would
Alone.
you would think that you won't be like working with anyone because you came from that particular behavior.
Right. Right.
So how is that for
Here's
you now? Like
here's what I
moving.
can say. Here's what I can say. Like early on, I was very isolated. Like my whole process, making beats, writing, I would like there's this sort of like producer ego or like mindset where you kind of want to accomplish
Mm,
things on your own. You want to finish this beat on your own. You don't want
yeah,
any help. But like
feel
that's
you.
good. I don't have anything against that. That's great when you're trying to learn how to do stuff, right? like early on. Like if you're, especially if you're like a budding producer or a songwriter, you got to learn how to do things on your own first. But eventually over time, you're going to have to learn how to collaborate with people. And in that sense, it makes you more efficient.
Yeah.
Better ideas come out of that, more unique ideas when you infuse someone else's like
Yep.
thought process with yours.
Would you say that
Fact.
because you're doing two roles? You're an artist and then you're a producer. Now, would you
Right.
say that you'd be more doing collabs as a producer or as an artist right
I
now?
would say like right now I'm more producer, because like as you said earlier, you kind of noticed that I was doing like a bunch of different shit across the board, right? And it's like to me, my philosophy for that is you just want to throw like shit on the wall and see what sticks. You know, there's no harm in that. It's low investment.
No.
It's low investment. Like right now, I just put out a pop song, and there are people who tell me like this is your best song yet, and there are other people that tell me like, oh, I like your like dance stuff better. So
Yeah,
so it's like it
I
really,
know because I was one of those people, right? Are you
yeah,
trying to?
exactly. No, but then like I know like that's why like I don't take these things personally, because like
Yeah, yeah.
as a producer, like I see it also as like, I mean, like, forgive me for saying this, because in the music world, to say that it's a business is like, you know, it's sacrilegious, but it's a business too, you know? Like, I want to put songs out there that I know I'm capable of doing. I want to put these records out. I know I'm capable of doing a dance hall record. I know I'm capable of doing a pop record or hip hop record. I want to put it
Yeah.
out there just so these artists know that, like, hey, Fonzy, he can do that. You know, he's our guy.
Yeah,
He can make some bangers out of like whatever genre. So that's
Yeah,
my
but
whole brand. That's my
yeah,
whole
yeah.
approach. You know.
Yeah, I do get you, and forgive me for being, like,
No.
being critical about your stuff, like, cause like I remember when Fonzie did this whole hip hop thing, I was fine with like all this like him doing it with others, but when he did it, I was like, what the hell was that, man? But then next thing you
Yeah.
know, it was like the biggest,
Yeah.
it
One of my
was
biggest songs. You know.
yeah, I know.
You know, that's the thing too, is because like I feel like I'm a dude that trusts my intuition a lot,
Mhm.
and like it just felt right. I remember you're talking about Swaggy B. I don't know if you're gonna play it in a while, if this is a segue to play it, but like but that song,
Oh,
that's
it's here. It's here. I'm gonna play it
yeah.
actually.
So that song, I didn't make the beat for that. One of my best friends did, and like that's like sort of the thing I discovered like along my producer journey, is like you don't have to do everything by yourself. Like someone
Mm,
can start the idea for you, and then you could just like, you can still be a producer, but then like take on a different role, see the bigger
okay.
picture, oversee how you're going to distribute it, oversee how like everything is going to play out, because you could have a fire ass beat, but then if your whole planning is like whack, then your song's not going anywhere. If you don't have like the big, like, if you don't have the
Yeah.
grand vision for it,
No, exactly.
Actually,
Yeah.
yeah. Go.
go
I
on.
was gonna, like, there's the product and then there's the distribution. Like, you need to be thinking of both.
Exactly. So me, like to
yeah.
me, like honestly, Swaggy B, that was a troll track. I was just
Yeah.
I was playing around, and I did that because I sort of figure out the sensibilities of like whatever worked with with the stuff I was doing with the cookies, like
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
stuff I was doing with cookies, it was very much in line with like Swaggy V, and like
Yeah.
I trusted that gut with Cookie, who's like also one of my best friends, and I like constantly talk to him also. But
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I took that sort of intuition and that gut, and I sort of transported it into my own record, and I had a good feeling that okay, this is gonna work. Like, infuse some English with some Bisaya words, and like have a fire ass Taiga type, like, flow, beat, whatever, but then make it my own as well, make it very punny. And
Yeah.
like,
But let me ask you this, Fonzie. Did you ever like? Of course, you have those gut feel and all that, right? Like me in what I do in work.
Yeah.
Was it something that you also like, even if we do know something is like possibly a song that is well consumed, did you really like think it was going to be in that level where like I know you were like number one in Y101 or stuff like that?
Yeah, honestly, yeah. I knew it was gonna be. Well, honestly, I thought it was gonna be bigger, but then COVID happened. I was gonna
Mm,
shoot a whole music video for it, and there's just like a
oh.
different effect when you have like people like on the music video live with you vibing to the song. But
Mm-hmm.
like I took what I could out of a shit situation, and I got as much people, Filipinx people, as I could, like on the record, and yeah, eventually it worked out, and yeah, I'm
Yeah.
just glad I trusted my gut then, because like
Mm.
a lot of people really vibe with it, and like sometimes I'm like, yeah, this isn't me, but like whatever.
Yeah, let's check this out. This track called "Swaggy B." This was actually released in this year, and it actually became a big thing on radio here in Cebu. So let's do this, and I
And on
wanna
TikTok too for some reason.
I wanna do like a follow up question because this is really interesting. This whole how to say that? You're saying it troll. You were saying a while ago. You're
Yeah, troll being a troll, and just like
okay.
sort of
So
playing with the sensibilities of
Yeah,
people.
yeah, Latrell.
all right, let's do this. This is Swaggy B by Fonzy. Of course, you're still listening to Behind This Beat.
Get that peso, 100 bands in my bank, that's my MO. Dripping nice in the club, cause it's great gold. 10 to Y, 65, and we lay low. Get that peso, nab your bitch, touch your skin like it's bellow. Give me next, she a champion Toronto. Want my dick in a ring, that's a no. Swaggy, swaggy, swaggy B. Swaggy, swaggy, swaggy B. Swaggy, swaggy, swaggy B. Oh, you by the katakatere. Swaggy.
All right, that was Swaggy B. That was actually like released around that time when the COVID
Yeah,
started,
exactly.
right?
Yeah.
So
I was gonna shoot a music video, but then I was scared because no one really
yeah,
knew anything about COVID then. But really, my like when I release songs, there's always intention behind it. And my intention for this song was like, since I was living out of Cebu, and like I just came, like at this point I came back from my trip from Cebu in January,
mm,
and I
yeah.
partied like in all these like clubs. I went to Trademark,
We
and
did
like
an event
yeah, we did
for
that event in Trademark, right?
in Trademark with Fatima Revni, right? When she
Yeah,
was
yeah,
in
that
the,
was
the
awesome.
Philippines.
So yeah, like I came from there feeling a little homesick, and I thought, why not? Like, if I'm not gonna be there, I'm gonna give the people like a song that people could like, like bop, like vibe to when I'm not there, like in the clubs and Trademark or whatever. So I made Swaggy B with that intention, and
Mm-hmm.
eventually, like quarantine happened, had to shoot the whole thing remotely, but it's whatever. It's cool because
Yeah,
like a lot of my
Yeah.
friends here too, a lot of like people from Toronto or like Canada, they like that's when I knew that like damn, like this whole Bisaya thing, this could really work. They don't know what I'm saying.
yeah,
Like
yeah. It's a
Marlino from well, shout out Marlino from
heavy
Heavy Hits.
rotation. Yeah,
Yeah.
heavy
he was
rotation.
he was like, damn, this is like fire or whatever. And like a lot of like guys or artists from there, like that were from California, they I don't know, they vibed with it because it had that whole vibe.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it was just like, yeah, that's when I realized like, yeah, this whole Bisaya thing could work if like packaged
Yeah,
well.
I was actually I'm a believer of that. Like even when back in the days when we were pushing Karencita and Mid
Yeah.
Nasty, there was really like
Oh,
that sound coming from the
yeah.
hip hop scene here, and
We going
but yeah,
there.
even huh? What?
We go in there.
Yeah, like it's like even with I mean, even with
Karencita.
cookies, even with cookies and all, like they did the they pioneered one of those things
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
the what I could say that it's universally accepted with because
Exactly.
there's Vispop, right, the Vispop
Yeah.
scene, right, but the Vis pop scene was really vibrant as far as the Cebu and the national thing is concerned. But when some of these artists was going outside of like just doing different genres, it kind of like went further to a more, I guess, universal appreciation. It's like when you listen to K-pop, you don't understand it, but because it's the sound is very, I guess, global sounding, in a way. So you adapt it. Now this is really where I wanted to go with this. Why I'm talking about this is that I'm one of those firm believers that it doesn't really matter how trolly, meme, or whatever masa description you have.
Yeah.
But I really believe that to be on top of the game, it's not just even the way the masa sound is. It's really about the music production, and most of the time here in the Philippines that I noticed, like I could be wrong, but I've been here for a while now, so I've heard, like all these like not even just the masa artists, but I hear even like majority of the piece of the pie of production is not really looked at well. It's like it's usually like you can probably have a certain niche or even just a small pie that's really doing it more like I guess better than everyone, but it's not really like the most by default that it should be like that. Like we're here, like knowing even the Beat This radio show was really trying to promote just the production side of things. I mean, because right now if you listen to some of these songs, and I was just watching this video by Skasta Klee. I don't know if you've seen that the recent one, the new one, Dance. It was a track called Dance With You. Now, this was released like 4 or 5 days ago, and now it's already 4.3 million. No, he's very famous.
What do you have to say about it? Is what I want.
I mean, he's very famous, right? He's
Hot
very
take.
famous. And that's not really the question. Oh, where did Boy Graduate go? Anyways, but that's not really the question of how famous this person is, but it's more of like, can he really bring the quality further with the music that he's doing? So I don't mind really listening to artists with the masa sound because it's I don't want to be that person, but if I would want to listen to something that is I guess in that element where you're trying to become this relatable meme type of artist, or even a really like masa sounding artist, my standard would be that make sure that production is really well done. It shouldn't make you sound not really good just because you're in this genre of like masa or something, right? Because sometimes there's a what's happening is there's like a, what do you call this, like a segregation between what is the masa sound of the Philippines, right? So I'm like my goal also is to find those even masa sounding artists with a really great production. And it's a good example with this Skasta Klee video. Even the video looks so good, man. I mean, you should check it out. It's called a track called Dance With Me.
I'm gonna
Dance,
check it out after this.
yeah, it's called Dance With You. It's a Skasta Klee track.
What do you think about it?
I mean, it's good. For me, I'm not a big fan of, I'm not really a big fan of what he does. But it kind of gave, it made me, I know, like, kumbaga, it grabbed my attention, like listening to it and looking at it because it was really done well, and that's always what I've been telling some of these hip hop artists, even here in Cebu, that, I mean, it doesn't matter if it's like Bisaya, Tagalog, or whatever. It's really the production. The production really well. It's going to come out. It's something that people would want to gravitate onto or listen to because it's well done.
Yeah.
But imagine if, even in the band scene before, diba? Like there are really good world class like songwriting, really good everything, but when they recorded, things fell apart because it's not done properly, I guess.
And I think that's whatever you're saying. I think that's where like the role of a record producer like comes in handy. like someone to really oversee the big idea,
For sure.
to really exploit these ideas and make them of quality, and but at the same time, palatable to like the general population.
Yeah, yeah, because it's very important to look at it that way. Because you can go further. Like recently, I'm promoting this artist from Cagayan de Oro called Jack Lord and
Yeah.
of 90 Records, and you can really see the time put in with the production side of it. And
Well, then that's a thing too, because right now we're in an era where people get their information from different sources, right? Especially
exactly,
in especially in music, where like the the playing field is leveled, you know? Like I'm getting the same information that someone from Cebu City, Philippines might get based off of a YouTube video on how to mix or how to
exactly,
like
yeah,
blend
sure.
together my kicks and 808s. It's
Yeah,
really it's a matter of taste and how you ingest that information and interpret it into like something of your own. But really, like personally, I think it boils down to taste. Like whatever you listen to, whatever you
yeah,
like,
yeah.
it's that really. If you're gonna
Yeah,
listen to some trash ass like whatever
yeah. I
masa
mean,
like sound and shit, then like
here's my here. I really want to say this, but it's like, okay, like in just like about the last few years, right? Like there's always like a talk about Bisaya music, how diba, it used to
right,
be like Baduy because it's Bisaya, right? But it's
right,
not
right.
happening now. But the thing is that you have to see is that it's not because it's English then it's going to be good. There's a lot of
Right.
English tracks out there that's
Yeah.
crap, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of English songs that are
So,
trashed, you know. It's
so
not the
it's not,
I'm a
yeah, yeah,
I'm a big believer of like it's not about the language you use
yeah, it's
or
not
the
even like,
instrumentals, whatever. It's about the vibe you create. And
yeah,
me as a
look,
producer, that's been my like guiding light all
yeah,
this
I
time,
mean, and
you
that's the
know.
thing. That's the thing with like even Cebu. Like when you have like Bisaya music being celebrated, yeah, it's
Uh-huh.
good. Like yeah, it's celebrated Bisaya, yeah, but it doesn't mean that all Bisaya songs are also good.
Yeah,
Like so
exactly.
that's the point. My point is not really about the language. It's really about you should look at the production because a really good song can really go bad ways if it's not done well on the production side. You
Yeah,
know.
like it's an interplay between production and songwriting always.
Yes, yes, yeah. I
That's what
agree.
I
I agree.
believe. It's never
So
like one or the other, but it's always like the other has to agree with one. You
yeah,
know?
and because the thing is, if people don't even like your songs and in a more mainstream way or even more song, at least
Mm.
your production would be sort of highlighted, right?
For sure,
You
for
know.
sure. And I think
So
yeah, I think Cebuano people are very like critical about that, which is
oh my
why
God, don't even
yeah.
get me started with Cebu.
Yeah.
Like I mean,
Anyway.
like it is like really one of the most for me. Cebu is probably like
Yeah.
it's a battleground. It's like if you're not
And
going to you're survive in Cebu, you're not going to survive anywhere else.
but then here's the thing though, is like
What
these
worse? What
days.
worse though, Manila or Cebu?
No, because back then, right, Cebu had like this sort of reputation as being the sort of grounds where you had where like if your song is how do you say it, Alex? Like it's more
What?
of quality control, right? Because
Yeah.
Cebu, a lot of Cebuanos get their influences back then. They used to get their influences from MTV, mainstream radio, like international radio. Cebu didn't really like adhere to like whatever was going on in Manila. That's the
Yeah.
thing, because Cebu was like, "Fuck Manila,
Yeah,
like
right.
we're gonna do it ourselves."
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
why am I gonna buy into this like Tagalog bullshit when like we have class or whatever? That's just like the Cebuano like mentality or the
Yeah. Back then,
culture.
it was
Yeah.
very ritualistic
That's
back
why
then.
Urban Dub became so successful, because they were very good. They were very masterful in their like lyrics and their delivery and their presentation like as a band. And that's why they were so good, because like like no one else was doing like the whole like thing they were doing back then, right? Alex, forgive me if I'm
Yeah.
wrong. But
Yeah, no, like it was something new that time. Actually, I was even surprised that it was. I don't think it was new, but we were probably so bullish about that sound that we went
uh-huh.
bring it to Manila, and then everyone
No
was
one in Manila was doing it.
yeah,
Remember?
yeah.
Yeah.
I think there was, but they were very underground. Like I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
typecast was already doing that, but
So,
like sort of the emo and even
so how so how
Chico.
I see it is you're influenced by your environment.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
Cebu had that very like sort of competitive, like we're trying to go international sort of
yes, yeah,
mentality. Whereas in Manila, it was like, yo, like we're gonna like sing in Tagalog, whatever, at that time, okay? But
yeah. At that time, yeah,
now, but
Yeah.
now it's like
Mm.
totally different with the internet like being available to everyone.
yeah.
And
And
like
now it's there's no
there's no
excuse.
bound, yeah,
There's
there's
no
no
excuse
borders.
to be I guess to be not good at what you do because it's everything's online now. Like you want to learn how to mix, it's there. You want to learn how to sing, it's there. It's online. So
Yeah.
uh,
Well, like in, yeah, like going back to what I said, where it's like right now, Manila, like everything is even, like I could make a bomb ass production, but that doesn't like stop someone from Bohol, from making like another
yeah,
bomb ass production too,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
about the
exactly.
amount. It's about the amount of information that they consume, or like the quality of information that they're taking in.
Yeah, I know. Boy Graduate has an experience with some younger kid here, right? Doing a lot of beats, right? You were saying?
Yeah, my guy Ronnie, who's doing a lot of
Yeah,
like
what's his name?
producing for me.
Ronnie. I know him. He
You
produced.
would know Ronnie, bro,
Yeah,
because
I
he's a
know him
hustler.
too.
Like,
Yeah, he produced one of the
um,
guys I was working with here, also. So yeah,
yeah, he's crazy with it. So shout out Ronnie. He's doing exams right now though. That's how young he is.
yeah, exactly. That's why I see.
So
Like in the Philippines, I see so much talent, and
Yeah,
like there's so
mm,
much talent because people have a lot of time. It's different there.
yeah,
Wherever
exactly.
wherever
Yeah,
you are, Alex, like time moves slower. over
yeah.
here over here people gotta like people gotta survive the cold and like
Yeah.
yeah.
make next month's
Everyone's
rent or
I know,
fast,
something.
bro. Like,
I know. Some of these artists would say that it's really like I wanna my music sounds like it's going to be accepted outside of Philippines, and they don't
Right.
know how stiff competition there is, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
but my take on it now is like you have to figure it out, like how to let people like your stuff here in the Philippines, and you're going to
Yeah,
do well if you do that, right? So
exactly.
let's just try to sort of ice break the whole thing because we want to talk more about it, but I want people to get to know more about your music, Fonzie. So
Oh,
the
sure.
thing is, I kind of skipped. We went to Swaggy B in 2020, but you had this 2019 track called "Giving Up," and I know
Yeah.
you in collaboration with an artist named Unblue. Maybe talk
Yeah,
about
I
that
love him.
where we listened to this one. So this is a track called "Giving Up," and I really like the music video. It has this retro vibe in it, retro gaming vibe, right? So
Yeah.
let's do this. Listen to this one. This is giving up. Of course, Unbloom and Fonzie. You're still here on Behind This Beat.
So tired of this, I wanna quit. Yeah, you're the one I won't let down. You always said just don't give up. I hate myself just way too much.
All right. That was, okay. Where's Fonzie?
he has to go to the toilet. He put it in the private chat. Like, can you play this longer?
Yeah, let's take him out first. Okay. All right. All right.
Oh
Sige.
man,
Okay.
oh, he's
So
back now.
he's back. Okay. He
Yeah,
took
what's up?
a CR break. Okay. Yeah. So that was a track called "Giving Up" with Unbloom, and yeah, tell us about that track and how that happened.
Okay, for sure. You want to know one word? Twitter.
Oh,
No joke. It happened on
that-
Twitter. Yeah, because like I said earlier, I'm the type of person that really likes to do a lot of research, or if you
yeah.
want to call it stalking. But
No,
like
research.
yeah, so like I
Research.
grew up. I mean, sorry. Um, I um, I just moved into London, Ontario, which is where I used to go to school for music production for, and being the curious guy that I am, I tried to look up who Alex. Is he muted?
I'm just laughing because
Oh, I
like
Okay.
think he is.
a graduate said something.
Okay. So like I was
Uh,
just being curious. I found him on Twitter for some reason based off like someone I follow, like one of the radio guys I follow from there, right? And I checked out his stuff. I was like, "Damn, this is legit." And like he had a couple like articles on earmilk.com. I'm not sure if Dancing Astronaut, but like these EDM blogs or whatever. And
nice.
I reached out to him. I can't hear you, Alex, but I reached out to him on Twitter via DM. I said, "Yo, dude, like, what's up? I really love your stuff. Like, we should do stuff together. Like, here's what I just did." I presented him "Forget You" and "Cool Together," you know, and that's
Mhm.
when we sort of became we started talking. We became friends after like I came to his place, and like we sort of like did a little session. And yeah, that's where Giving Up came up.
Nice. And
That's
that
where
was
it
was
happened.
that the first
I think
person you
that was
collaborated
the
with
first session. We
after?
wrote that in the first session. It's like a
Nice.
stranger on Twitter. And now we're
And
like really
you
good
still,
friends.
yeah, that's crazy,
And like
man.
he does a lot of
Why
stuff.
Twitter?
Hmm? I
Why
don't
Twitter,
know.
not Instagram?
Not on this. I lurk a lot on like my social media. I'm like the type of guy
Mhm.
that does that, right?
Yeah, right.
And yeah, I just happened to see him there, like tweet something funny, and yeah, that's how it happened. What's up with Alex? Is he muted or what?
He's on the phone, I think.
Okay, he's on the phone. So yeah,
Man,
yeah,
it's
we
been an
made that
interesting episode.
happen, and one of our friends, Connor Moran, he also co-wrote the song, which is like pretty cool too. And
Oh, nice.
yeah, I made some
Yeah.
really good friends out of that. And
Sorry, yeah, sorry. I was like just laughing, like because like we have a friend over here, man, like he's hanging out with us. Hey,
Garth,
man, you gotta say hi to the
Yeah, shout
cab.
out guys.
Yeah,
Gar,
Hey,
hey,
miss you,
Gars.
man. How you doing?
We're just
My
having good
guy.
time, you know.
how
So,
you
anyways,
doing?
yeah, move on, man. That's why I was just talking and on mute. I was talking to him
So
there.
yeah, that was basically it. Like met him on Twitter, we became friends, and he's basically like if London's like a very small music scene too. So like yeah, I mean like whatever principles I had from like in the music scene in Cebu, like who to talk to, which kind of like artists are popping. Like I applied those like same strategies to like whatever city I moved to or wherever I'm at.
Yeah, that was such a good track, by the
Yeah,
way. Giving
exactly
up.
the same.
Yeah, did you produce that?
Yeah, me and Unbloom did. So it's like a co-write thing.
Yeah, how does
That's
that work?
because we're both like producers, right? He has his own style. I have my own style, and I
But
think
how does that work? Is it going to like clash with like no, I
not
want this.
really, not
How,
really. It's like so. I think I came up with the hook first. It was not good enough, not good enough. It was that on guitar, and then everything like from before that, I started the verse, which was like marimbas, which is like I don't know if many people notice, but that's my thing, where it's like plucky sounding instruments.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
sort of my
Carries out.
signature or whatever. Like I like to
Yeah,
use that. That's my
signature.
fetish, and yeah, and then his fetish is usually like four on the floor disclosure type tracks
Bad. Mhm.
with like synths, with heavy synths. So we made it work, and like there wasn't really much friction to it, to be honest. Like when me and him work, it's like a lot of bouncing back and forth between ideas, and we just do everything like majorly like online.
Yeah, what's his take on? I'm sure, probably on his own thing. He probably has his own success, right? But what was it? What is it like for him to experience getting sort of like a listenership or an audience coming from the Philippines?
Yeah, he was really stoked about it. And it's something that a lot of artists I work with here are like stoked about too, like, breaking into this sort of new emerging market. And for the reason that like a lot of bands tour here, and there's a lot of like sort of opportunities to be made in like these markets, and for the fact that like North America is very oversaturated with bands and
Hmm.
acts and tours. So like that fact alone is like enough for them to want to look into like this territory, which is great. And which is like sort of the USP I provide as a producer, right? If you want me to produce your track, you're buying into my audience who like resides in the Southeast Asian region.
Yeah. So you have a lot of success in collabs, man. I noticed like the uh, we have we're gonna be playing your latest single after like we recap the whole thing, but I think we still
Sure,
have
sure.
a couple of tracks that we wanna. Actually, we're giving Fonzie here like not only five but six songs that we're featuring because he's
Whoa.
special.
Special guest.
Yeah.
Every guest is special. This is
Every
extra
guest is
special.
special.
Of course, he's just that
Right.
it's been a while. We haven't really hanged out with this guy. He was part of
Way
the
too long.
he was really part of the inception of Beat This. I could say,
Yeah.
because he was there from the very
Yeah.
beginning,
It
right?
feels honestly, it feels like yesterday when I would drive up the Boy Scout camp.
Yeah. So anyway, so let's talk about your association with different artists. Also, I know, like if you, I look at all the catalog you have, and it looks to me like you've been doing collabs, but specifically you've done you've done two actually for an artist named Young Kael, and I know we
Yeah.
met Young Kael from Bohol in
Yeah.
Cebu because of the Beat This show, right? And this was one of the projects that you did for Beat This Boutique when we had this compilation,
Yeah.
like effort called Kultura with Hero Tungia and Young Kael, and now you have a song with him
Yeah.
again called Alcance, right?
Yeah, it's
So
mostly his song. So
yeah, so what like are you like I could say you're fond of doing tracks for him? What is it
I
that
don't know.
you
There's just something about his like voice in the way he delivers his bars that's unique. You know, it's Bisaya, but then like when he does English, it's still like pretty dope. It's palatable to like an international audience when they hear it, and he knows his shit, which is like something that like that's it's always a good thing to work with when you're a producer, when you're working with an artist that knows how to produce themselves. Kyle doesn't need my help, but like when I heard this demo, I was like, yo, Kyle, like we should do something with this. Let me put a verse on it, and like let's fix the mix on it, and let's put it out. But like to put it down basically is I think Kyle has a very unique like approach to like delivering like his
yeah
like his delivery or whatever.
he
I don't know
was
how to explain
I
it.
mean, he was one of those surprise artists I had in the show Beat This back in the days where like that's why you're saying you'll never know that there is someone out there not only from Cebu or even the outskirts
Yeah,
of Mindanao that there's really like this whoa, like you didn't even
yeah,
know that he had
yeah,
someone we had someone like Young Kael doing something like that you didn't
yeah,
hear much here in Cebu, you know.
yeah.
So, so yeah, I mean, I do get it why you're working with him, but does he like do his own beats until now, or does he work with you
Nah,
more?
I think it's a mix of both. But like I can't speak for him, but I feel like he raps more now. Either way, like I think his like bars are fire, and like like with Gael, like all the stuff I put out with him, it's a numbers game. Sometimes it can like you never know. Like what if like what if the stuff I'm doing with you now, like it breaks? What if the next record I do with you breaks, like
Yeah,
internationally? You just never know. And that's
yeah.
like the beauty of like being a producer. You can like work with pretty much anyone you want to and not have to like alienate like your fans or whatever.
Okay, so let's do this. Like I want to play this track called "Ass Bounce," and this is actually kind of surprising to me again. It's like
Okay.
you always have this, yeah. Because like the first time you did the hip hop swaggy beat, it was like okay, that was different, and then now it's another
Yeah.
different sound. So, take me through this whole
Sure.
thing after we play this track while we're actually waiting for Boy Graduate. I don't know what's happening to this internet. So let's
Australia
do this.
is on fire.
Yeah, this is Ass Bounce, of course. Still Fonzy here, music producer extraordinaire from Cebu. Well, used to be from Cebu, but now in Canada. Let's listen to this one right here on Behind This Beat.
This a big party, baby, let me show you something. We can get down, the bubbles are funky. Shake what your mama gave her, she must truly love you. But not as much as me, yeah, you doing all the bumping. Fonzy on the beat, so you know the beat jumping. Type of beat to get in, he has to jump in. Dance like you in the mirror, nobody watching. Dance like you in the mirror, nobody watching. Yeah, I'm feeling your vibe, you feeling mine. Got me hugging on your thighs. Memory foam sheets, yeah, I'm trying to get inside. I can't lie, you got me feeling wild. This fine beat, yeah, you got me trying to ride.
Where's Boy Graduate?
I don't know what's happening with Boy Graduate.
He graduated.
Kagars, you have a question? My question, Kagars?
Chicken Girls, let's go. What's the question?
My question is,
That's a question.
why are you still single, bro?
Why are you still single, though, bro?
Who knows? What if I'm married? That's
or,
kidding. Pero,
or you could have, you probably have a kid, you just didn't know. Right?
I don't know. I'm married to music. I think Mojo na akong like you think is like, like you could fall in love and stuff, but then like music is always gonna be there.
Duh. 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 Patay
Yeah.
mo.
God.
Patay mo. Yeah. Yeah, I know how that feels, but let's not go there. Anyways, so basically, we're actually gonna wrap up our show in a bit so that we could play your latest track. But yeah, just tell us shortly about like Ass
Ass Bounce?
Bounce. Yeah, Ass Bounce. Like
Yeah.
it sounds so different from the usual tracks that you do.
Yeah.
But before that, just want to say to Papa Graduate and NJ Aranas, hi Fonzy.
What's
Jose,
up, NJ?
and then also yeah, Trev was saying young Tony. There you go. Yeah, so yeah, tell us a bit about Ass Bounce so that we could sort of like
So-
do our first wave questions with you and then wrap
So-
this whole thing up.
So Ass Bounce, I did that when I was in school, and it was with like one of my co-producers, Galarza, who's like a Norwegian producer also, who's also like one of my best friends. I think it's important, like as a producer, to have like another set of ears that you could sort of trust. And yeah, he just happens to be my guy, Galarza. And I think it was either one of us sent each other like this beat idea, and then like I sort of built around it, and then that's why he's in the video too, and he's in the track. And we got I was in the studio, and like one of these rappers came in, and I showed him the beat, and I didn't think he'd like it, right? Because it's very housey, UK garage. But eventually he came up with a couple like bars for it, and I was like, man, this is fire. We got to put it on record. So I put him in the booth. His name is Dame. He's an amazing like artist also. I don't know where he is because he's not on socials right now. Dame, where are you? Hit me up. And yeah, he just like spit a verse. I don't know how many takes, probably like 2 takes. I cut it up. And next thing you know, we had a record like in the summer. In the summer, that's when I decided to like really finish it. And like, because there's a lot of stuff in my hard drive, as you can imagine, like unfinished stuff. And
I'm sure, man. I'm sure.
yeah, this is like one of those like weird stuff that like I just wanted to put out. And I felt like this was like in the middle of the pandemic too. And I just wanted to put something out to make people like, to give some comedic relief.
Well, it kind of definitely like sort of got my attention for sure. It
Yeah.
was so different from your usual stuff. But yeah, let's do our first wave sessions right now because like I don't know what's happening to boy
Graduate na lagi.
but yeah, probably he graduated. That's the right way. So he was
Graduated.
a graduate saying we are sorting out the internet with our provider. So some things. Just want to say hi to Papa Graduate, like
Who's
the
Papa Graduate? His dad?
dad, yeah, the dad.
What's up, Papa Graduate?
Graduate, yeah.
Family
He's
of
a
grads.
loyal listener, and he always watches the show. Just wanted to say hi also some people who actually gave us a like and a heart icon. Medj, thank you. Of course, Gars is going to thank because he's here. Ray Raymond Fabo, of course, the manager of a lot of great bands in Manila. Of course, Roderick Paharon, IMAX McCoy, Darren Te, Lexter, the virus. Oh, your wife gave us a love, on Claire. Hi, Claire. Of course, Ronel, Raymond De Castro, Kathy Choi, Chill Blanco, and Mama Ed Palina. So, and then also there's a couple of people here who said hi. NJ, I don't know if you know him.
NJ?
And,
Yeah, know him, of course.
Daddy, hi, hey, Daddy Fonzy. Yeah. And so yeah, let's do our first wave. Just a couple of questions so that we can wrap up this show because we've been like really enjoying
Yapping, right?
yeah, but it was fun, it's always fun hanging out with you, man. So let's do this. I'll give you probably 5 or 10 questions. If you don't get the answer right away, you can just say pass, right?
Okay.
The first wave is a game we do here on the show on Behind This Beat, where we just like give you like a question of anything that you that is first experience in your life, right?
Oh, okay.
So you
First.
can say where it is, when it happened, and all that. Okay.
Yeah,
So my first wave question would be first music icon crush.
Crush?
Yeah.
Huh, damn. Well, if it's a man crush, then Billy Joe Armstrong from Green Day.
Okay. Good. All right.
Yeah.
So, your first radio appearance.
Shit, that's hard. I don't know. I think it was Monster Radio in Cebu, but then Marie Digby was on there, and like they just kind of got me on the mic too, like to talk, and I was like super young.
What
so
year
it
was this?
stupid.
Way back.
Yeah, way back, like 2011, 2012.
Okay. All right. Sige. First foreign country you ever visited.
Hong Kong, China.
Okay.
Yeah, somewhere
Cool. What were you doing there?
there. Family.
Vacation?
Yeah, I think Disneyland or something. I'm not sure.
Okay, here. What was your first paid gig?
As a band.
Whatever.
Shit,
Your
that's
paid
so hard.
gig.
I still don't think I'm paid right now. Just kidding. But damn, that's hard. I think I think it was one of those school fairs. Probably like one of our high school fairs.
What
Yeah.
school specifically? You kind of forgot na?
Springdale? Yeah.
Springdale boy.
Yeah, high school.
Spring.
I think we were paid. If not, then it would have to be USC. I think USC paid us.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
What was the first song you made?
First song. Damn, that's hard. Like first real song?
Yeah.
Or first like demo song.
First demo song. First, what was it and what is it all about?
Wow, you're taking me
I'm
back.
sure it's about
here.
love.
Yeah, for sure. It was like I don't remember the exact like message of the song, but I know I was an emo kid back then and a victim, I was trying to play the victim. No, like my heart was getting broken and like yeah.
Okay, what is the first concert you ever attended?
Oh man. Concert, like legit concert? Okay, I think
Yeah.
it was Bamboo. Waterfront, Bamboo Waterfront, the Pepsi
Okay.
show. I remember that.
Now, okay, let me
Yeah.
go follow up question. What is the first foreign event you saw or concert you saw? Foreign artist, international.
Oh wait. This is so hard.
Yeah,
Ah,
I'm down to my last two questions after that.
let me think. Okay, I think it was. It's not secondhand serenade. No,
Secondhand serenade.
no, it's not that. I'm sure it's not that. But like maybe Don Moen. I don't know. What else? I think Don Moen. Yeah, Don Moen. When I was a kid, I'll say.
Okay, last two questions. What is your first studio recording experience? Where?
I remember it very well with like one of my very early mentors, Brian Sakura, rest his soul, a very good guy. It was in
Yeah.
Zubu. And I hit him up on MySpace. I was like, hi, how much am I record? Or something like that. I didn't know shit about like how the whole process was gonna turn out. But then like I made my bandmates like trust me, and they eventually did, and we went to Zubu Recording Studios, which was in Gordo Avenue. I'm not sure, but yeah, it was there on like the attic of like this house, and yeah, and the whole place was like foggy from the smoke, pulled the smoke the night before or something.
Okay,
But
here's
yeah,
my last
that was
question.
cool.
Last question. The first person you text or connect when something exciting happens to you.
My mom.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I remember briefly when you were in Cebu and you had that incident,
Which
and you
incident?
and you that car incident.
Oh yeah, dude, that was crazy.
And then you were telling me you had to call your, like, you don't know how to tell your mom. I remember that.
Yeah, that's crazy because I hit her car, and yeah, because I didn't know how to drive anymore when I came back to Cebu.
Yeah.
Basically,
But yeah, okay. Thank you for that and for being a sport on that particular thing that we do. Yeah, I mean that was our first wave, and yeah, we're gonna be closing the show. Would be like, and I just wanted to thank you again for coming here because Boy Graduate is actually gone,
yeah.
and I don't know what's happening. Yeah, I guess he's still sorting out his internet. But yeah, anything you want to inform the public or the listeners right now about the things that you're doing before we actually play "Hate That I Miss You," because this is the newest track that you have right now.
Yeah. Okay, so everyone that's listening right now on the lives, you can follow me on Instagram because I think that's where I'm most active at Tony Fonzy. It should be down there below. I don't know if
Okay.
Alex is putting it, but whatever. It's
Yeah, I
at
will be
Tony Fonzy, and you can check me out on Spotify. It's
Let's put
Fonzy
that
only,
there. You can
but
see that.
yeah, you can always chat with me. I won't get back to you until like 5 days because like I'm really shitty at replying, but yeah, like yeah, just reach out and stay updated. And if you're a creative too, then keep going because you never know what comes your way like in the next year, the next month, or the next week or so. So just keep doing it. And yeah, like keep listening to Behind This Beat because it's a dope ass show for producers and
And
creators alike.
so yeah, I just had to of course just tell us briefly about this new track because this we're ending the show with this
Sure.
latest release that just dropped today. You know.
Cool. Yeah. So do you want me to explain the meaning of the song? Okay, I'll do
Yeah,
that.
like let's do
So
like first off like your collab
the
with Carly, like
yeah,
Carly. Carly?
Carly. Yeah, she's a Canadian artist. She's from Toronto also, and I went to school with her, and she's one of my like really good friends, really good like collaborators when it comes to songwriting. And yeah, you just know sometimes, like when you link up with another creative or songwriter that like things work out, and that's just the way it was with me and Carly. Eventually we wrote a couple of songs too together in school, but then this is the one song that we wrote together that like really made sense. And like if you want to ask about the meaning, who do I miss, because a lot of people keep asking me, who do we miss, who do you hate that you miss? No one. It's ambiguous, you know. If you want to ask me, like I don't really miss anyone except for my dogs and my like family, but whatever. It's a very ambiguous type. I mean, like to me, it's it can mean a lot of things. I wanted to write it from the perspective of someone who was like sort of, about to get it into a relationship, but then like couldn't really get into it because he was always like traveling or whatever, which is kind of my situation. But then like,
Yeah, so you produced this and you sang on it, right?
yeah, well actually Galarza like made the beat for it. And then I came in and I was like he sent me the initial demo for the beat, right?
Okay.
Galarza, who's like one of my co-producers also. He sent me the initial demo for the beat, and then I was like, yeah, this sounds dope. And then that's when I started adding my own stuff to it. I was in Cebu back then because me and him, we always like send each other. That's why it's so important to have someone who like is a second set of ears who you can like send like sort of like your beats to or like
Yeah,
some
yeah.
feedback to. So we do
Mhm.
that a lot. We send each other beats like a lot, and he sent me this beat. I was in Cebu. I think I was like on my way like home from Mactan International Airport or whatever. I played it and I just
Okay.
had this melody. Hate that I miss you. Hate sent it to him, and he was
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, this sounds good." And then like yeah, when I came back to Toronto, that's when I like really started working on it again, like on the vocals, and then telling Carly, "Hey, it'd be perfect if you get on here, and then maybe if we add like this to the harmonies or whatever, and then maybe if you add like a little sort of effect." It's like there's a
Yeah.
lot that goes into
Yeah.
production that many people don't realize. Not just
Yeah,
making
yeah.
beats.
So I mean, that's always our goal here in the show to actually like let listeners, even aspiring artists or producers in the future, to actually know that there is that whole things happening behind a
Yeah.
song, right? So that's why it's called Behind This Beat, right? So
Yeah.
anyway, thank you again, Fonzie, for hanging out with us, man. Like it's been a blast, because we always chat from time to time, but both of us are doing a lot of good things in
Yeah.
our field, right? So I can't wait for more of opportunities to come in between both of us.
For
For
sure.
sure, 2021 will definitely be something.
Don't say that. You're gonna jinx it. That's what
Well,
we
unless
said. That's what we
yeah,
said for 2020.
yeah, unless there's like another
Look,
another
the world
virus.
burned.
Yeah, so like let's not. Well, we'll hope for the best, right?
Yeah.
Thank you again, and we'll leave this show with this track called "Hate That I Miss You," of course by Carly and Fonzie. So you want to have your last words before we go? Because I just want to recap this whole thing.
I'm good. I think I said all I need to say. Follow me on at Tony Fonzie on Instagram and Fonzie on Spotify. Follow me and click play, like it, because that's how the algorithm works. We really want to get that. We want
Okay,
to make it work.
now, yeah, okay. Last statement. What is Filipino Global for you?
Filipino Global is not being ashamed of where you came from or like what your heritage is, but like, expressing it in the fullest and being proud of it.
Very well said. Okay, okay. All right. Thank you again, Fonzie, for hanging out with us. We'll leave you with a track from him, Hate That I Miss You. Okay, so bye bye, man. Like, thanks for the time. Just stay for a
Bye.
bit. Just stay for a bit
Okay.
so that we could, say
Chica.
our chica and all that. All right, so that was Fonzie. Thank you again for hanging out with us. Of course, here I'm with Gars. Yeah. So just a few words before we go. Next Friday, that's going to be December 4. We're gonna be having August Rigo from Canada, and it's same area as where Fonzie is, and it's amazing because I've been hearing his name for like the past three interviews, and finally I get to talk. We get to we I just said I because Boy Graduate isn't here, but I'm saying like next week it will be an honor to actually talk to August Rigo. He's done a lot of really big things for some of the bigger artists globally, and then at the same time doing some great things with music with all the artists, Filipino artists, not only in the Philippines but even other parts of the world. So yeah, August Rigo, that's going to be December 4. It's going to be 2 p.m. still. We moved it a bit earlier because some of the guests that we have are sort of in their evening timeline, of which is close to midnight already. So yeah, so again, make sure to go to our socials at Beat This PH, and then if you want to know more about us, it's www.beatthisph.com, and we are all on podcast platforms. So again, thank you very much for hanging out with us for almost 2 hours. It's fun to be always doing this, and make sure to just really support Filipino global music movement, not only through our platform, but every platform out there who is supporting and promoting Filipino creatives representing the 1,000 islands, the Philippines, right? So yeah, thank you very much. And we'll leave you with a track right now called Hate That I Miss You. And Boy Graduate couldn't join us because his internet is, is a bummer. So watch out for us next week. Thank you very much, guys, and goodbye.
So young, running out of purpose, living the night, nothing here can hurt us. It's been a while since I felt this nervous. Cause I hate that I miss you. I hate that I feel this way. Cause I can't move on, I know that you're gone, but you know that I can't stay. I need another day, cause I don't feel the same. I'm stuck in this place, so I get my break, but I gotta go today.
Tell me where you got